Hey guys, hope you're all well. Right, Sunday late afternoon, I'm about to get started. I've been sorting a few things out today for several jobs through this week. The RM is what I'm about to get my hands on again and get cracking with the few remaining jobs that we have left. As you can see, it is nearly done. It's just a few little things to snag up and get finished. So I'm going to be on that in a moment. May not be the most interesting video, but it is a part of the whole thing, the whole process that we've been through with this bike, so we might as well see it through to the end. So we'll get on with that in a moment. I've got some jobs to do on Paul's little RM80 this week. As you can see, that's looking more and more like a full bike. He has been in this morning. He's popped the bearings into his hubs, which I need for building the wheels and truing them up. We've got the hubs there, stainless spokes, and the rims hanging at the back of the bike there. So I will be putting them wheels together at some point this week and get that finished. 350 LC, which is tucked up the corner around here. I could do with a place twice the size at the minute. That's there. Again, I've got to finish the stand. That's just down to where I'm placing the pin to carry the spring. Got to get that done. We've got to get the footrest hangers done for the footrest, which I've got over there, and we've sorted the back wheel issue out. So a bit of a chat with my friend, and basically the back wheel that's in it is not going to work at all. No chance, no way, no how, in a month of Sundays or whatever, is that back wheel going to work in that bike. It's just impossible. It's about inch to inch and a half off centre, and we've just got nothing, no way of getting it across. So he's been and got a back wheel. We've sorted, it's sat there ready to go. I'm just waiting for some material to turn up now. I've ordered some alloy aluminium bar to make all the spacers for that wheel, and then we'll just quickly pop it on the bench and get all that sorted as well. So hopefully this week my work on that will be complete, so that one can go out the way and the RM will be out the way, and we're creating some space. Obviously centre stage then will be the BMW GS. We'll go and drag that back in and blow the dust and the cobwebs out of it, and no doubt change my mind on quite a bit. There's going to be a bit of time with that, thinking it all through again, refreshing my mind on that job, and then we'll crack on with that. I'll say that will be centre stage, but in between all that, I'll continue sharing what I call behind the scenes jobs. So some of you seem to be enjoying them. I enjoy doing them and I enjoy sharing them, so no matter what it is, I'll share the behind the scenes job. I never used to do that before, but it all helps. It mixes the content up a little bit, and some of you guys saying you're enjoying them, so yeah, I'll keep sharing them. If it's not for you, there'll always be something along eventually. If you just want to follow the GS build, that's fair enough, but I do enjoy sharing the behind the scenes jobs, because we got a fair few of them coming through and I need to crack on with them. Anyway, what else we got coming on? Oh, Gertrude's XT, the 600, if you remember, was it last week? It was last week, wasn't it? Or was it with the week before? I don't know. I've lost track of time, as always. To start with, I couldn't get it started, but I eventually got it started. Gertrude's since been over and taken the bike out, and it's still not quite right. It's got a little random intermittent misfire to it. It's not bad, it just does a thing now and again, which obviously it shouldn't be doing, and it still can be a right pain to start. So what Gertrude's done is ordered a full service kit for the carburetor, which I've got here. I think most of it's there. Got all these little goodies in here. We've got gaskets, springs, screws, and all sorts of bits. We've got oil filter to give it an oil change, air filter in the big box, So yeah, we're gonna give it a proper going over, but I'll do that one evening when I'm here on my own. It's nice and quiet, all the good people have gone to bed and settled down with their partners, wives, or whatever they do, and I can just put the blinkers on in here. I'll have it all laid out on this bench when I've removed the carburetor and rebuild it, and fingers crossed that will sort its little issue out and it'll start on the button every time. So yeah, that's one of the other little jobs. Obviously the GS, the BMW GS will take center stage when I get that back in here, but I will continue sharing all these little behind the scenes jobs because we got a fair few of them coming through, and it all helps, all these little things, obviously alongside you Patreons, which I can't thank you all enough. These little jobs help me to continue in here basically, and like I say, I enjoy doing them. Anyway, RM, stop rabbiting on. RM, what we got left on this? Just going to continue going through it now, checking everything. I've done the rear brake pedal earlier in between sorting other things out. That's all got the spring on now. Obviously we've got to get the fluid in there and start bleeding the rear brake up and the front brake. Just a case of going over absolutely everything. We've got to put the coolant in there, we've got to put the oils in there, the gearbox oil, transmission oil, whatever you want to call it. We've got to get that in there. Fork oil, which I haven't done there, that's got to go in. So yeah, it's coming to the end, but these little jobs can take a little bit of time, but I am hoping to have this bike completed this week, as long as I don't get too many interruptions. So it will be phone on silent, shut the doors, get my head down and start ploughing through some of these jobs. Anyway, it's knocking on a bit Sunday afternoon, so let's get on with this and start ticking the remaining little jobs off the list. Right, let's start with lowering this down, and we'll go for the air filter to start with. Pedal to the metal, I should say pedal to the concrete. Going down. Right, let's have a looky in here. Put that on there for now. There's also some things. Ooh, it's got a bit dusty under there. I've got to sort some of this out that the seat hook's under, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. We'll have a white round in the airbox there, and we have a new air filter to go on, so I've got to put that onto the frame and find all the fixings that are needed to do all that bit, and then we can bolt the seat down. So let's take care of that bit first, and then we can tick that off the list. Right, straight out the starting blocks with an issue. Well, not an issue, a little problem to solve. Right, we have the new air filter. We have the original air filter frame, but what we don't have is a fixing. So normally these were like a long bolt, and it'll probably have a wing nut on the end to be able to remove the air filter by hand, because you've not got a lot of room in there to be getting tools at the end of the filter when it's in to remove it. So normally it's something you can grab by hand and do it up and do it. Can't find it anywhere. That's if it actually had one. I'm not making up excuses, but we know what a terrible state this bike was in, and all the bodges that are on this bike. Quite possibly it didn't have the correct fixing anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make something. I've got a bit of an idea. There's some bits over there, so I'm going to put something together that looks neat and it will work. Let's get on with that first. Right, we have the filter frame then. I found a screw which is long enough to go through there, but we don't want that on. We can't just rely on that little end. So I have one of these, which is M6. So I'm going to cut the end off this and run a die down it, and I think that's going to work. what we'll do, we'll just put stupid amounts of Loctite on there, and that should be good enough. At the end of the day, this filter, you know, you haven't got to do it up to it within an inch of its life. It's literally just nipped up by hand. That's how they normally are. So this little idea should do it and look neat enough. Yeah. Well, there we go. Then we'll put a bit of a lead on there for the dye to go down there. And we'll get a bit of a M6 thread on there. That'll do nicely. Right, let's get some Loctite on there, then find a washer out, and that should work. Let's get this together. This filter's pre-oiled as well, so I'm about to get very, very, very sticky, because the oil on these things is quite unpleasant. And it always pours to the bottom of the filter where they've hung up in the shop. But that's it. Oh, let me find a washer as well. Alright, sorted. Get that washer on. Drop that in there. That's got to be sorted. That's not a bad fix, I guess. Well, let's get that on. Job done. There we go. That's all nice and neat. Get your hand in there, you see. So I mean, you got, I should be able to tell, you got very, very little space. If I'd just done it as a bolt or something like that, you got very little space to get in there and turn a spanner or anything like that. So on that little thumb screw is a lot better. I say, I can't even remember if we had the correct one in the first place. I don't know, but that I think that'll be all right. It's neat enough. Again, these silly little things is what takes the time when you're just snagging all the remaining jobs up. Little bits like that do take time. Right, next bit. Should be able to pull that on. Let's get the that one on it, then that one. On you go. There we are. That's fine. Get all this done up. The top shot mount, which is also loose, so we'll get that done up. One more for good luck. Oh. okay. Right, just cleaning these panels back up again a little bit. Got a tiny bit of petrol because over time these graphics, these backings shrink a little bit and then leave a sticky residue there. So I'm just getting that off. Let's sort all the fixings out for them. Reversing slightly. I'll just come to bolt that side panel and then I remembered there's no thread for that fixing there. So you have to nut the back up in the airbox. It's how it was. I'm not sure if like a little steel insert has come out the airbox itself, but someone had drilled all the way through the airbox to nut and bolt it. That's how it was. So we got no choice but to follow that procedure and put it back like that. Slight step backwards. Is that going to reach? That's a little bit too long actually. Let's find something a bit more suitable. A little bit too long, so I'll pop that through. Mark it up this side. Chop that down and get a nut on it. That's all that trimmed up, chopped down, trimmed up. I'll get that done up, then we'll put it back together again. There's always a couple of steps backwards. Right, seat back on. That's got it. Right, get that bolted up now. The seat getting bolted up. I've just had to sort of loosen all that panel off again because it weren't fitting over the frame nicely. So I've sorted all that out. That should all pull up nicely. Yeah, I need to go around that again. It's looking a bit messy. It's just all the gum coming from behind the green background there. I can do all this as a final job on the bike. That's it. Right, just move the throttle out of the way. I'm going to do this brake lever up, just so the top of that pot's sitting about level. I'm going to put some brake fluid in it, see if we can at least get the front brake bled up before we call it a day. There we go. But yeah, that sits over it. I think I've explained before where this has got a bit of a cutout at the back of the body so the lever can operate. So that's no choice but to sit over that brake pot, or else it won't work. So we'll just move that out of the way for now till we get some brake fluid in the pot. Right, we have some brake fluid in there. Now obviously all the brakes are all brand new on this, all rebuilt, so calipers are completely empty. So it could take a bit of getting sorted, you know, getting all the fluid, filling all the calipers back up again, getting all the air out. But even just operating the lever up here, we can get a fair bit of air out by doing that. As you can see, all the bubbles coming up. And with them bubbles coming out of there, that means fluid is going down the line. And eventually we'll fill the calipers up. That can take a little while. We'll see how we go tonight. I may just leave it overnight, let gravity take its course a little bit, and that should help us out as well. We'll see how it goes. It's getting late now. I've been doing this in between other jobs as usual today, but we've got a few things ticked off, which is nice. It literally is... Oh, I've got another confession to make as well. I don't know where I put the split link to the chain. No idea. Hence why the chain's still on the bench. I've ordered one. So, I may find it in the meantime. Good chance it's me. I've gone and put it in a really safe place and never to be found again, or it could reappear in about 2 years time when I move something or look in a pot, and I'll discover that safe place again. I don't know what I've done with that. I don't know. One's ordered, just in case I can't find it. I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep having a pumpy on these brakes, getting that air out. Right, moving on. It's getting there. We've got a bit of a break at last. I've been working on that for a fair while, just patiently pumping and bleeding and pumping and bleeding and pumping. Eventually we got a bit of a break there now, so I'm probably going to leave that there now. I've just topped it back up with fluid. Well, instead of that lever going all the way to the handlebars, we've got that. I think I'm just going to put a bit of a cable tie around the lever for the night and leave it, and then see how it feels in the morning and carry on, and then get on with the back brake. That'll do me. Not too much of a video, but we've got a bit more done. I think I've got engine oil for this. I'll have to check that out. I'm sure I have. And then a bit of two-stroke oil and some petrol, and maybe the next video we'll be firing this thing up. Well, the next RM video we should be, well, at least tempting to start this. Touch wood. It's gonna fire straight up, run really sweet, and everything's fine and dandy. We can wish. Anyway, that'll do. Sunday night. I didn't want to work this late, but I've gone and done it again. So I'm going to call it a day. I think it's about 9 o'clock or something. Hey, that'll do. Cheers for watching, guys. Take care.